Hi, Jake with Diode Dynamics. Today we're going to be going over the installation procedures for our multicolor boards for the 2018 Ford Mustang. We'll show you how to remove the factory LED DRL and replace them with our multicolor LED boards. Now, installation does require that the headlights be open, but once they're open, you'll only need basic hand tools. Let's get started. Once you've removed the headlight from the car, you'll need to separate the lens from the back of the housing. Now, it's for this reason that we do recommend professional installation. However, to separate the two, you'll use indirect heat, or what's commonly known as baking. This will soften the seal around the headlight and allow it to be pried open. Now, this is our R&D headlight, so we've already removed the seal to separate the lens from the back of the housing. To finalize the opening, you'll go ahead and remove 4 screws in total from the back of the housing, 1, 2 on the top, and then 1 and 2 on the bottom. With that complete, you can go ahead and remove your factory lens. Now, be sure to set it somewhere soft where it's not going to get scratched or damaged. With the headlight open, you'll now have access to your factory DRL LED boards. To remove them from the bezel, you'll go ahead and take a standard Phillips screwdriver and pull out 1, 2, and 3 screws. With the screws removed, you can go ahead and pull out the factory LED board bezel. Be sure to unplug your factory connector and tuck it back in the headlight housing, as you won't be reusing it. With your factory LED bezel removed, you'll go ahead and start taking the factory LEDs out. Now, to do this, you're going to go ahead and use a snipping tool to remove 3 plastic tabs on each board. Now, this is our R&D headlight, so these tabs have already been removed. When you're doing this, it's important to note that each board has 2 small plastic mounting tabs that we'll be using later on, so be sure not to remove those. With your factory LED boards removed, you can now begin the installation of your Diode Dynamics multicolor boards. You'll notice that these are labeled L3, L2, and L1 for the left side. You'll also see that these are designed to be an OEM fitment and will align perfectly with your factory mounting tabs. The easiest way to do this is to start with the back panel first, secure that in place, and then work your way forward. To secure the panel, you'll use a 5-minute epoxy, which is available at any local hardware store, and place a little dab of epoxy over the hole where each factory rivet went. So we'll give ourselves a little bit of epoxy to work with and mix it up thoroughly. So using just a couple drops of epoxy, you'll go ahead and place the epoxy over top the factory rivet mounting point. Follow the same procedure for the second panel. Before moving on to the next panel, just be sure that the previous panel is secure in place. Go ahead and give it 5 to 10 minutes to set up and dry. Then we'll be ready to move on and insert it back into the factory housing. Once your epoxy's had time to set up and your new boards are firmly in place, go ahead and feed your Diode Dynamics wiring through the back of the housing, but be sure to seal any openings you may create for the wiring. Once that's complete, you can go ahead and set your LED bezel back in the housing using the factory mounting tabs. We'll then reinsert the 3 screws to set it in place. Now's a really good time to check that factory wiring harness and make sure that it's tucked back in the housing. Now, before reinstalling the headlight, we're going to go ahead and test our multicolor boards. Go ahead and plug your boards into the included Diode Dynamics driver, as we don't recommend plugging it directly into the controller itself. Once we've confirmed everything's functioning properly, we'll go ahead and reattach our lens using the 4 screws, and then we'll go ahead and seal the headlight. Once that's complete, you can mount your Diode Dynamics driver outside the headlight for accessibility purposes, and then reinstall the headlight into the car. With your new multicolor boards installed, you'll now not only get multicolor functionality, but a bright, pure white thanks to the use of a dedicated white chip, as well as an optional sequential amber turn signal with our RGBWA option. For more information on these multicolor boards and more, visit DiodeDynamics.com or use the dealer locator tool to find a dealer near you. Thanks for watching.